Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. I am Jonathan West, and welcome to the Howler. As it is a big day, Coyote faithful, as your Sanford College Coyotes are ranked number 2 in the nation. No, you didn't hear me wrong. Don't take any earplugs out of your ears because you don't have any. Number 2 in the nation. It's absolutely unbelievable. The Coyotes are at the top of the college football ranks. They are up there. The only team in front of them currently are the Oklahoma Sooners. These Coyotes have faced the Oklahoma Sooners before, so it's understandable where that comes from. Now, after being ranked number 2 in the nation, how do things get better is the question. Well, Sanford has had some big things go down. They had a big week last week with recruits coming in. And well, I'll have you know, those recruits brought a lot of good news with them. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But this Coyotes team now has something to play for. They have the aspirations of a national championship. They win out, they're national championship contenders. If they lose, well, they're no longer national champion contenders. So there's a lot now on the line. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for this young team. That's what I'm fighting with right now. I'm not sure entirely what's good or bad for this young program. Now, recruiting-wise, there's a new player on the board. Center Brandon Davis. We'll keep him in mind as the season starts coming closer and closer to a close. I don't think Davis will be committing anywhere anytime soon, at least. Now, on the other side of things, let's talk about future Coyotes, because there are a ton coming in. A ton of commits were made. The biggest one, arguably, cornerback Keith Darby. He is a speedy man at 6'1" and has some great coverage skills. He plays extremely well in zone coverage, which is something the Coyotes don't run a lot of. They're much more of a man coverage team, but that'll help them if they do drop into that zone, and especially when they're trying to stop those prevent style attacks late in the fourth quarter. Now the big tight end, Garrett Theory, also committing to Sanford. So add another big weapon to that receiving core. And with John Scott going to take over at quarterback, I expect a lot more passing out of this Coyotes offense next year. Theory could be a huge weapon, not only in the red zone, but in the middle of the field when they just want to utilize their tight end as the big target that he can be. Ian Holiday, the tackle, commits as well. There's a big hole to fill at tackle. This offensive line needs help. They need just youth there. They need guys that can play for a long time. Ian Holiday can be one of those guys. I would think he probably will be a backup next year, not a day one starter. But we'll see exactly where he plays on the line and exactly if he'll start or not. Wide receiver Brandon King also commits, a 6'5" target who has a good amount of speed to him. So there's another tall target with speed, very similar to Steven Supersonic Sullivan, already on the roster, of course, known for being the kick returner at Sanford. So there's another target. Now with King, though, his hands are a big issue. Dropped a couple passes so far in his senior year. We'll see if King can really make those hands a bigger weapon than they have been this year in his high school season. Now, not a lot going on at the quarterback position for Sanford, big time talk at least, but they did get a kid, Jason Ravato, to commit. And when I tell you he reminds me of the man who's currently under center, that's not an exaggeration. He is pretty much, in my eyes, Tanner Patrick with a little more of an arm. Not much, but a little bit of a stronger arm. Very similar styles from these two, as well as their size. Ravato only 2 inches taller than Tanner Patrick, and he weighs just a bit more, about 20 to 30 on the size advantage for Ravato. So very similar quarterback. He'll more than likely see a redshirt his first year here at Sanford. But a guy to keep in mind at wide receiver, the last guy we'll be talking about Sanford-wise, is Chad Riley. He's got some speed to him, but he's got hands. Unlike Brandon King, Riley has very good hands, so that small size could be great for a slot-style receiver. And finally, Kyle Seahorn, the quarterback out of Ottawa Hall. He'll be headed to UNC, the University of North Carolina. He'll be a Tar Heel next season at quarterback. Now, players of the week, we've got no Coyotes as Mark Bates and Mulbah Carr pick up the Player of the Week awards on offense and defensive, respectively. Defensive and offensive, respectively. There we go. But bigger and bigger things for the Coyotes this year. They're undefeated. They're ranked number 2 in the nation. Number 2, folks, in the nation. And they have a matchup that personally I think is going to be one of the toughest tests all season long coming up this weekend. UCF, the University of Central Florida. And we'll talk about this a little later on in the show here when we start talking about players to watch this week for the Golden Knights. But this looks like a matchup that could very much hurt the Coyotes. And we'll talk a bit about who exactly that matchup is when we get to talk about players. But let's talk about that top 25. I brought up Oklahoma being the top school right now in the nation, number 1 in the top 25, Sanford following right behind at number 2. The Coyotes right now are behind a team where the last time we saw them play said team, they were massacred. Remember, that was a shutout. Sanford did not score a point against the Oklahoma Sooners. Well, maybe, just maybe, we might be seeing a rematch there in the national title game. And this is a much different Sanford offense with a much more focus from the looks of things. Tanner Patrick and Claude Fleming is playing some of his best football to date, especially showing off that power. So there's a lot that Sanford's playing for. And the adulation of the fan base has been enormous here in Sanford. You don't know how many times I've just seen Sanford t-shirts, hats, everything around just the town as I'm walking by. You can't go anywhere on campus without seeing somebody wearing a Sanford hat or t-shirt now. And I'm talking football, not just the school's logo on it. It's absolutely unbelievable the way this program has risen in just 5 years. Their 5th year in play here in the FBS. So it's just fun to see how much love there is right now for this program. But let's move away from just talking about the program and talk about this week's matchup. The University of Central Florida Golden Knights. Right now, Kirk Herbstreit has the Coyotes. They lead UCF in just about every stat line you will really need them to. And you look at this matchup on paper, it's hard not to take the Coyotes. They have played absolutely phenomenally. UCF lost their first 4 games and have now just gotten on a 3-game win streak. Now, one situation there, those 3 wins have all come in conference. Sanford, on the other hand, has beaten teams like Oklahoma State, Penn State. Those are some bigger name teams. They had a tight one with Tulsa to start AAC play, but they have played well against tough teams. And they're going to have to bring their best football to defeat this UCF football program. And it all starts at quarterback with Mackenzie Milton. He is right now the leading rusher and leading passer for this team. And we've seen what Sanford does against rushing quarterbacks. They're not a great team against rushing quarterbacks. This is the scariest part of the game, is Mackenzie Milton at quarterback. Very similar in size to Tanner Patrick. Weighs only about 6 pounds more. 5'11", 181. I'd say this much. He's Tanner Patrick with a much stronger arm, and he has unbeatable speed. Sanford's got to find a way to hold down McKenzie Milton. That is going to be the key factor to winning this ball game. They also have to look at running back Adrian Killens. He's going to be a guy to keep their eyes on. He can be a deadly threat in the run game, and you add that with Milton's speed, well, option plays are about as deadly as they can get. Now, he's only averaging 40 yards per game. He's only got 3 touchdowns, and his longest rush is only of 13. So he's not really dominating. But you add the possibility of Killens in there along with McKenzie Milton, and if you're not ready, something's going to break. Now over on the defensive side of UCF, you've got Eric Mitchell at right outside linebacker. The senior is arguably the leader of this defense. He's got 2 picks from his linebacker position, and not to mention, both have gone back for touchdowns. So think about that. This is a linebacker known to pick the ball off, a guy who is known to take those back against a quarterback, and as much as it pains me to say this, really is known for turning the ball over. Now, Patrick has done a good job of not turning the ball over as much this year, but there's so many question marks with a player like that on the defensive side. Now, UCF has a number of good corners. They do have a transfer that came in that we don't have to worry about this year. But the key components to worry about is Brandon Moore, the senior corner. He's the top guy. He's got 4 pass deflections on the year, no interceptions, and only 1 solo tackle. But he is going to be on Josh Williams all day long, and as we've covered before, when it comes to the passing attack, how the team goes will be how Josh Williams goes. Rob Thomas has played well, but Josh Williams is the go-to guy. Now, finally, at strong safety, it's Jeff Harris. He's got 2 picks on the year as well. None taken back for touchdowns, but 2 picks and 5 pass deflections. Jeff Harris is another guy you don't want to throw the ball near. So you've got an outside linebacker with solid hands and a safety that can ball hawk. This doesn't look good for the passing attack. So I think you folks already know kind of where I'm leading here. This game's going to come down to really Tanner Patrick playing well. He can't make mistakes. He can't overthrow his targets. He has to connect. He has to make sure mistakes don't happen. And he has to use his legs. It's all going to come down to the running attack from both Patrick and Fleming to decide how this offense goes. If they can run the ball well, I think this team has a very good chance of defeating UCF. Now, as I stated before, Josh Williams is the go-to guy in the receiving game. He's already got 4 touchdowns this year. He only had 5 last year. Of course, he missed 4 games with that suspension. But he's already got 4 this year. He's averaging nearly as many yards per game as he averaged last year. And he has been the go-to guy in the red zone when it comes to looking for that top receiver to go to. Who's the guy you trust? So with that being said, look for him to be a top target today. This weekend. Justin Moss, a guy we haven't talked much about, but on that defensive side of things, this is your future. Joe Irvin's graduating. Moss is going to step right into Irvin's position. We're going to see a guy like Kellen Herron or Dylan Crosby take over. And Justin Moss has shown up this year. 2 sacks, and he has played extremely well against the run. So it's really fun to watch where Moss has come from. Now, we always talk about that secondary, and the biggest surprise all year long has been Dustin Jordan. He has not played well. He had 6 interceptions last year, not a single pick to date this season. And while you folks watch practice, I want to continue to talk about Dustin Jordan because I think this is a thing that not only goes as far as Dustin Jordan, it goes for this secondary as a whole. This is a secondary that was expected to play extremely well this year. You have Flash Gibson as a senior who played well last year. Dustin Jordan, who played extremely well last year in his sophomore season. This was a secondary expected to succeed. The question was a strong safety, and Daniel Clemens has played quite well. But they have underperformed all year long. And it's really difficult to see how the front four has looked well for Sanford. Hollis is starting to shape up here. We've seen plenty from Big Joe. Justin Moss coming along quite well, and Shea Faraday playing extremely well in his redshirt freshman year. So now the question is, if this secondary can get going, how good can this defense really be? Because I don't think we've seen the best this defense has to offer this year. And if this offense can play as solid as they have all year long, this is arguably the best team in the nation when they're all clicking. I don't know if that's possible, though. And now you folks might have a different opinion at home sitting watching on your televisions, but to me, this team, there are too many issues going on the defensive side of things, whether it be just inconsistencies or just something not going their way, that I don't know if this offense can continue to play at the rate that they've been and continue to win ball games for them. Last year, the defense carried this team. This year, the offense has had to do it. This UCF game is going to be a major measuring stick for the Coyotes. And it is going to be a very tough one headed on the road this Saturday. And that's where we're going to leave this edition of the Howler off, folks. You've been watching the Coyotes Football Network. I've been Jonathan West. This has been the Howler, and we will see you this Saturday as the Coyotes head to Orlando. Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. I am Jonathan West, and welcome to Bright House Network Stadium as the Sanford College Coyotes are here in Orlando as they face the UCF, University of Central Florida, Golden Knights in what is, well, in my opinion, arguably the biggest game so far this season. Next week might be the biggest game of the season, the rivalry game against UConn at home. But this week, it's all about the Golden Knights. And as the East standings show, UCF is right behind Sanford. So this is arguably a fight for the East Conference as it stands right now in the AAC. We'll see if Mackenzie Milton and that rushing attack of UCF can attack this defense. I brought it up, the inconsistencies this defense has had in the Howler. We'll see if that becomes a big issue this week or not, or if this defense can put things together and really be a force to be reckoned with as we get ready to go here. As Sanford will receive the opening kickoff, it's Sam Williams, and the young corner finding some room, and he nearly took off. He was stopped by the ankle, and if he hadn't been stopped there, he was gone, as out will come Claude Fleming and company. Nice day against East Carolina, 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. As Patrick immediately on the run to begin things, and he's got a first down. 15 yards right off the bat. They were going to throw, but Patrick decides to call his own number immediately, and thanks to Claude Fleming, he gains 15. First and 10 now, single back pitch goes out to Fleming, and that's going to be a loss of 1 there for Claude. He couldn't find room to run, no blocks, and the Golden Knights were able to corral very quickly. Second and 11, offset eye. Patrick going to Fleming. He's going to make up that room now, as that's a 9-yard run, and it makes a much more manageable 3rd and 2 here coming up. 3rd and 2 in the I form as Patrick taking his time. He'll pitch it out this time to Joe Baker. And Baker can't find the edge as he'll only gain 1 yard. Baker has been a deadly threat as of late, as that one was almost blocked for Jean-Paul Valley as he places a beautiful punt at the 1 yard line. But Baker's been a great threat here as of late. Surprised he couldn't pick up that first on third as now the UCF offense gets going, and Killens right up the gut finds 7 yards out of the shotgun, and it's 2nd and 3 already. Shotgun formation once again for UCF, and they started some no huddle here. And Mackenzie Milton's taking off. This is exactly what I was worried about, and he's going to get more than enough for the first, a gain of 15, copying the quarterback in the blue and white. 1st and 10 as the no huddle continues for the Golden Knights. Mayfield, the man in motion. And he'll come all the way to line up along with Killens, but Killens takes off on the run, and that's going to be a gain of 6. The running attack being the prime offense here for the Golden Knights to begin things. 2nd and 4 as they get the play once again from the sideline. Robbins, the man in motion, and the handoff goes to Killens, and he finds enough for the first down, brought down by Pat Riley. Things not looking good here early on, at least for Sanford's defense. They haven't been able to stop the run as Milton looks to go through the air. No, he's going to take off, and he is dragged down. That's a sack for Justin Moss. This young man has looked exceptional this year. I'm very excited to see how he does without Joe Irvin by his side next season. He's going to be the big man at that defensive tackle spot. 2nd and 12, shotgun formation for the Golden Knights as Milton looks to throw. He does throw, and it's a connection to Derek Robbins, a gain of 5 on that short out route. It'll make it 3rd and 7. It's considered a 3rd and long situation as there's a flag that flies, and this may make it 3rd and very long, as this is going to move the Golden Knights back 5 yards, as that false start is exactly what Sanford's defense needed here. 3rd and 12. Milton takes the snap out of gun. He was under pressure as he throws deep. It's caught by Mayfield. Dante Mayfield, 47 yards against Flash Gibson. What a catch as the no huddle continues here. Everybody getting to the line for UCF as Milton takes the snap, and he's going to take off with it. Runs through, I believe that was Sam Williams, a gain of 7. I think this Sanford defense is just dumbfounded right now. 2nd and 3 is Milton out of the gun. Checks it down to Hall in the flats, and that's going to be enough for the first down. Sam Williams on the tackle. A gain of 4 by Hall. 1st and goal now. Shotgun formation still here as Mackenzie Milton hooks up with, I believe that's pronounced Bargnar, and that is enough for the touchdown. 9-yard touchdown strike on the wide receiver screen. So UCF scores, and it was all thanks to a 47-yard connection. And I mean, I think every Sanford fan right now is just dumbfounded by that play. We do have an update for you, though, as Houston is up 14-7 over the Connecticut Huskies. We'll have more on that game as the game continues here. Now back to Sanford we go as the Coyotes back on offense. Patrick looking to throw, connects with Patrick Jackson. 10-yard gain as the Patrick-to-Patrick connection begins. 2nd and inches, they go back to the ground, and it's Claude Fleming, and he fights through 2 different defenders, able to only come up with 8 yards, but hey, that is enough for the first in a new set of downs. As 1st and 10 option here for Tanner Patrick, and he'll just slide safely for a gain of 7. As they now try to get their running game going, the Coyotes really known for their ground game. We'll see if they can continue it. 2nd and 3. Handoff goes to Fleming, and up the gut he goes. Another first down for the ground game as they have entered, or at least are close to, Golden Knight territory. As 1st and 10, Patrick drops back. He's going deep. Intended for Lorenzo Newman, just not enough under it. Chris Hall got a hand on it and batted that one away. As 2nd and 10, shotgun formation, Patrick connects with Lorenzo Newman on the check down in the flats, but he's able to fight through one defender and able to get 3 yards out of it. So he makes a gain out of what would initially have been a loss. So either way, it's a plus situation, but 3rd and 7 now. They set up the screen for Joe Baker. He can't spin out the defender, and it's a loss of 2. This is exactly what Sanford didn't need on this drive. Baker has been a big weapon, whether it's through the air or on the ground. He just couldn't make one man miss. He probably would have had enough for the first. He had made just one guy miss. So UCF is taking back over, and they're already on the wrong side of things, as a jump here by their offensive line is going to move them back 5 yards. 1st and 15 following the false start. Mackenzie Milton takes the snap. He's standing in his own end zone, and he's rushing, but he's brought down. Big Joe. That's sack number 9 on the season, and that will put Milton and the Golden Knights at the 1-yard line. But we're at the end of the first quarter, and it's 7-0. The Golden Knights on top of the Coyotes early here. But there's more football to play here on the Coyotes Football Network. We are back, folks, here in Orlando, as it is 7-0 here to begin the second quarter, and Milton was almost able to be brought down for a safety, but instead of a safety, it's a 32-yard run, as Matthew Fowler, the man that brought him down, and the no-huddle begins again. I hope you like seeing the Sanford defense get worn down, because that's what this no-huddle plans to do. But Dylan Trevor comes rushing in there, stopping Adrian Killens. Only a gain of 1. 2nd and 9 now as the shotgun continues. Milton going to take off. He pitches it, though, to Sanders. And Sanders with enough for the first. He's brought down by Dustin Jordan. And that pitch took everybody by surprise. 1st and 10 as the no-huddle continues. Milton takes the snap, and he can't connect with his intended target. That, I believe, was once again Trevor on the play. Dylan Trevor playing very good coverage there. As a screen here on 2nd down goes to Hall. He'll gain 5 yards. That'll make it a more manageable 3rd down. We'll see, though, if this Sanford defense can get their first stop of the day, as Milton takes the snap and he can't connect. Chaz Tanner was in the way, kind of blocked it with his own helmet, but that's perfectly fine as they have to punt it to Sanford. Patrick and company take over as I don't know what Tanner Patrick saw, but he had a wide open man over the middle, unable to connect as he was looking to go to the flats. That'll bring out 2nd and 10. And back to the ground they go with Claude Fleming. It's only a gain of 1, meaning 3rd and long coming up. Shotgun formation. Patrick takes the snap. And wide open, it's Rob Thomas downfield. 30-yard connection. The seniors connect, and what a big play. Perfect time for a play like that to happen. This team needed the big play to get the momentum, and a huge one from Tanner Patrick to Rob Thomas. 1st and 10, shotgun formation here. As the handoff goes to Fleming, right up the gut, he goes on the draw, and he fought through one defender, avoided 2 others, and a nice 9-yard gain. 2nd and 1, Joe Baker checks into the ball game. And the handoff goes Baker's way up the gut, and that is more than enough for the first. Called a first down of its own, a gain of 10 on that carry. Baker seeing a couple more snaps early here than we're used to seeing from him. 1st and 10. Patrick going play action, it looks like. He's trying to take off, avoids one would-be sack, but goes down to the 2nd. Luckily at the line of scrimmage, so Scott Marquardt will not get a big devastating sack here. It will go down as a sack, but luckily no loss. Maybe about half a yard at most, but nonetheless it is not a killer for this offense. 2nd and 10, I formation here. As Sanford going play action again. Wide open Lorenzo Newman, and it's enough for the first. Gain of 14, and these Coyotes are inside the 10. First and goal from around the 4 or 5 yard line. Handoff goes to Fleming on the jet sweep out of the Wildcat, and it is a 3-yard gain down to around the 1 yard line. So on second and goal, they got their goal line package, but Fleming is bottled up. It's a loss of 1, as they're going to have to now go third and goal from around the 2 yard line. As it's third and goal, Fleming still in the ball game. They'll go play action. Patrick rolling out, connects with Mike Heath. Touchdown, Sanford. As they're going to tie this one up, pending, of course, the extra point. And it is huge now, 7-7. With under 2.5 remaining in the first half of play, Adrian Killings takes that run up for a gain of 8. It's a tie ball game, 7 apiece here. Second and 2. Mackenzie Milton going to take off again on an option. He's got room. He fights through nearly one defender. That's 20 yards and another big first down. He's averaging 11.5 per game. Per game. As first and 10 handoff goes to Killens again. And Killens with another nice run. This one gets him a first down. It's a gain of 11. As we're under a minute left here in the first half, it is first and 10 for UCF. Milton takes the snap. Connects with Hall, and that's going to be a stop after a gain of 4 on the check down. Second and 6, the no huddle continues here for the Golden Knights as Mackenzie Milton gets the play. He's now going to throw, and that is Sanders on the sideline. 5-yard gain, 3rd and 2 coming up. No huddle continues. Still in the shotgun. And pressure coming in. Milton going to keep it though in the option, and it's going to be a big first down. As Gordon Sutton, the man that brought him down, and it is 1st and 10 once again. Milton goes option again, and he's got another nice gain. Gain of 9. Here's the second timeout taken by UCF. Second and 1 as a flag flies in, though this could move the Golden Knights back, and it will. False start penalty, and that's the best thing Sanford could hope for. Second and 6, shotgun formation. Under a minute to go here in the half, and Milton's taken off again. And another first down run, gain of 8 down to the 2. He's already over 100 yards, folks. Mackenzie Milton has been the entire offense for the Golden Knights. As Milton to throw, connects with Hall. It's a 2-yard touchdown reception. The Golden Knights take the lead with 38 seconds left in the first half. First and 10 now for Sanford. As Patrick to throw. He connects with Williams. 16 yards. He kept just a bit of that foot in bounds. And that's going to be enough for the first down. 31 seconds left. New set of downs. Patrick looks to throw. He'll check it down to Pat Jackson. And he'll just slip out of bounds after a gain of 9. Second and 1. 26 seconds remain in the first half. Patrick looking to throw. He checks it to Fleming. That's going to be a gain of 4 as he goes out of bounds after the first. First and 10, shotgun formation. Patrick looks to throw. They're setting up a screen. And Fleming's got some room, but not a lot. He tries to power through the defenders, but can only gain 5. First timeout taken by Sanford. Second and 5, Patrick looks to throw again. Going downfield, and it's taken away. That's Mitchell. Count that as interception number 3 for the outside linebacker. And to point out, folks, Eric Mitchell was lined up on Patrick Jackson, the quickest receiver on the field. That's an amazing play by Eric Mitchell right there. As 9 seconds left, UCF setting up a screen, and it doesn't work out. Big Joe shuts it down, a loss of 5. And surprisingly, Sanford takes a timeout. I'm not sure what the meaning of the timeout is. They should know they're going downfield for the Hail Mary here to end the half, and behind the defense is Mayfield. Andy Owl runs everybody, 64-yard touchdown. You have got to be kidding me. The half ends 21-7 thanks to a Mayfield touchdown to end the half. It's a tough one here in Orlando. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford College football here in Orlando as they face the UCF Golden Knights as Mackenzie Milton, the quarterback for the Knights, takes off. And it's an 8-yard gain. Once again, he has just controlled this ball game. Not to mention, you want to talk about Mayfield in the receiving game. Already over 100 yards and plenty more. Has a 2-yard run there from Adrian Killens on second down, enough for the first. First and 10 here, shotgun formation. Killens the man in motion, and it's going to be another option for Milton, and he's got room. It is a gain of 9, and this defense cannot stop Mackenzie Milton. Second and 1. Looks like they're bringing everybody up on the line here now on defense. They bring all the pressure as Killens still finds room, though. Gain of 4 and enough for the first. First and 10, the no-huddle continues here with the UCF offense. Milton goes option. This time, though, he stopped for only a yard. Big play by Flash Gibson to stop Milton on that run. Second and 9, shotgun formation. Milton takes the snap, setting up a screen for Killens. He's got it, but he's brought out of bounds. Only a gain of 2, maybe 1.5. As third, and they'll call it 7 here. Defense rotates in, and they go screen for Mayfield, and he's got enough for the first, a gain of 9. This is absolutely baffling. Every time it looks like the defense might have him stopped. UCF continues to find a way as Milton on the run. He's brought down, but not till he gets the first down. First and 10, once again, the no-huddle continues to wear down this defense, and now you've got backups in the ball game. As Milton takes off, and he finds more room, a gain of 8 brought down by Sam Moore. At this point, any Milton run looks like it's going to end in very positive yardage. Second and 2, Milton checks it down to Sanders. He nearly breaks the tackle of Gordon Sutton. It's a new set of downs after the reception. First and 10 as the no-huddle continues. Milton takes off on the option. He finds a small amount of room and is able to gain 5 yards. One of the lowest runs he's had today. Second and 5. Milton takes off, but he goes nowhere this time. A loss of 3. That's Kellen Herron, and I believe that was Scott Boyd along with him that brought him down. Third and 8 as the rotation moves back in with their starters. Milton was feeling the pressure, and he had to throw it away. That will force a field goal, luckily, for Sanford here. As they are set up to kick, and it is good. 24-7. It is a 3-score ball game. As over the middle went Patrick, and right off the bat, it's an interception by Andre Pugh, the middle linebacker. I'm sorry, the left outside linebacker. I thought he played middle from the look of the formation. But it's a simple play that I think if just a little more air under it, Patrick completes, and it's a big first down to Lorenzo Newman. But instead, it's a pick Luckily, though, it seems like UCF is still having some problems on that offensive line. Another false start brings them back to 1st and 15. As Milton once again goes option and he fights off the would-be tackle for a loss. It's a gain of 7. He gets the penalty yardage and more back now. 2nd and 8. The no-huddle continues. Milton hands off to Killens, but Killens finds a little bit of room. It's not going to be a ton, a gain of 3, but it continues to move the ball forward. 3rd and 5. As now Milton out of the gun. He'll take off again. The pitch goes to Sanders, and he fights through a defender. That was Pat Riley, an 11-yard gain. As I believe, yes, Mackenzie Milton is down. This isn't a good sign for UCF. But right now, it's going to be tough for Sanford to even make a comeback. Is Nelson the man taking off now? And that's going to be a gain of 7. Sean Nelson all the way to the 1. So it looks like without Milton, they can still run with their QB. As 2nd and goal. Handoff to, I believe that was Killens, and it was. Touchdown, UCF. It's 31-7, folks. As Tanner Patrick with a beautiful throw to Williams, and Josh Williams. A big 47-yard play. They needed something like that. It's going to take a miracle right now for them to really fight back into this. They're going to need the defense to get some stops, get some turnovers, but a big play like that helps immensely. 1st and 10 as a penalty is already on the field. Fleming having no room there. We'll see exactly what this is. They're calling it encroachment on the defense. That means a 1st down for Sanford. So it was a free play, 1st and 5. Now is Patrick under center. He'll drop back, looking to throw. Connects with Josh Williams. Touchdown, Sanford. Okay, they cut into the lead. They have cut into the lead now. They have to make something happen on defense. We'll take you back to Houston as it's a tight one there, 28-35. It's only a touchdown game. 2:45 left in the 3rd. Welcome back now to Orlando as UCF back on offense. Sean Nelson going to be your QB for the rest of the day, folks, as 3-yard reception for Adrian Killens there. Milton will not return. 2nd and 7. Nelson takes off, but he is caught. He's not as fast as McKenzie. That is a plus here. 3rd and 6 as the no-huddle continues. Nelson looks to throw and can't connect with his intended target. Falls incomplete. Sanford's not out of it just yet. 1st and goal. They go play action. Patrick downfield. It's Lorenzo Newman. This time he connects. 1st down. Another big play for this offense. They needed another big play to get them going. And that one might just really get this team flowing. 1.5 minutes remains in the 3rd. 1st and goal. They're going option. Tanner Patrick taking off, and he'll get enough for the 1st. As Patrick getting it done with his legs now as they're near the red zone. 1st and 10 out of the pistol. Patrick looks to throw over the middle. It's taken away. Marquardt with the pick. He had a sack earlier that did no damage. But now an interception, which shuts the drive down and gives the ball back to the Golden Knights. Robbins, the man in motion, as Killens gets the football. Only a gain of 1, but under 1 minute remains here in the 3rd. 2nd and 9. Shotgun formation. Nelson hands off to Killens, and that is going to be a 7-yard gain. That's going to make a very manageable 3rd and 2 here. Luckily, I believe another false start here for UCF. They have had issues all over their line with jumping too early. So that moves them back to 3rd and 7 now. Nelson takes the snap. Pressure was coming in, but he hits Killens, and he's wide open for more yardage. That is a 15-yard gain. About 7 or 8 of that came off of the run after the catch. 1st and 10 now. As the no-huddle continues, Nelson looks to throw. To the sideline, it's caught by Bargnar. 13-yard reception. I just can't understand how this defense is having this much trouble. 1st and 10. Nelson goes option here, and that's going to be another nice gain on the ground for the quarterback. A 7-yard gain as it'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Sanford needs a miracle going into the final quarter of play. 31-14, the Golden Knights are up. We'll be back with the final quarter here on the Coyotes Football Network. Well, folks, Sanford needs a miracle as we bring you back to the ball game. 31-14 as Sean Nelson takes off, and he's got running room. Down to around the 17 after a 23-yard rush. It's 1st and 10 here for the Golden Knights. Man in motion's Mayfield. They go play action. Nelson on the run, though, and he's going to take off for a gain of 3. Luckily, nothing more than that. Dylan Trevor able to shut him down. 2nd and 7. As the no-huddle continues, Mayfield once again play action, but Nelson didn't know what to do. The play broke down, and he got brought down. A big tackle by Dylan Trevor this time around, as that'll bring him to 3rd and 12. This is a big opportunity for Sanford, as Nelson can't get to his target. He just gets the ball out of his hands, and that means 4th down. They got a kick. The kick is up, and it is no good. A big miss as Sanford now still in the ball game. It is a 3-score game, folks. Sanford just needs to score quick. As a play action nearly intercepted there. Intended for Pat Jackson. Falls incomplete, luckily. 2nd and 10. Tanner Patrick sets up the screen for Claude Fleming. He doesn't get as many blocks as he would have liked. It's only going to be a gain of 9. Sets up a manageable 3rd and 1. Some no-huddle run here by Sanford as Tanner Patrick takes the snap. He'll connect short to Pat Jackson. He'll go out of bounds after a gain of 8. It's 1st and 10. Still in the shotgun are the Coyotes as Patrick going deep, and it's taken away. Interception number 3. Interception number 4 on the day. That is Byron Brown. 4 interceptions for Tanner Patrick. Only 2 touchdowns this team has on the field. On the board. As now UCF continues their offense. A 6-yard gain here through the air as that out route towards the sideline was caught by Robert Hall. 2nd and 4, shotgun formation as the no-huddle continues. Nelson going to take off. He's held up on his blocker, but a 4-yard gain is enough for the 1st down. This defense just has not been able to hold these mobile quarterbacks. As Nelson hands off to his tight end Ryan Gallagher. It's a gain of 5. And now even the wide receivers are gaining rushing yards. As Gallagher still in at running back, Nelson looks to throw. To the sideline, it's caught. That's Dustin Sanders, 14-yard connection. One more touchdown, I think, truly seals this game away. as Sanford looks to hopefully stop this offense. 1st and 10, Nelson to throw. Deep downfield, and that one falls incomplete. The closest man there was Pat Riley. 2nd and 10. Still in the shotgun as the man in motion goes out wide a bit more as Nelson, though, takes the run. And that's going to be a 6-yard gain. 3rd and 4. It's manageable here for the Golden Knights again. They remain in their no huddle in the shotgun as Nelson takes off. 1st down and more. There is a flag, though, but this may be a face mask. And it is on Sanford. That's going to be on Daniel Clemens, and that's going to be half the distance to the goal. When it rains, it pours, folks, as Sanford just can't seem to get out of their own way as Killings right up the gut into the end zone. It's about to become 38-14. As we'll take you to a final update here, I think, from Houston. 31-35. Cougars still on top of the Huskies at home with 5:56 remaining. Back here in Orlando, Sanford needs a miracle, but it looks like they're just going to go to their normal game plan. As running the football with Fleming, a gain of 11 and enough for the first. 1st and 10, they go right back to the ground with Fleming. I'm not sure if this is the coaches giving up or not, but a gain of only 1 there. Under 4 minutes remain as Patrick now going back to the air. He connects with Josh Williams, but he's brought down in bounds. 22-yard reception. He's 5 yards away from 100 on the day. But there's just not much time left. I don't think Sanford has the time to make this comeback, even if they were really giving it their all. As 1st and 10 at the single back, it's a handoff to Fleming, and he's got room. Enough for the first, gain of 15, is over 100 yards now rushing combined for Sanford today. They'll go back to the ground with Fleming, this time only a gain of 3. But I'm surprised they're not throwing the football. They're not trying to score quick now. 2nd and 7 after a 5-wide set. Patrick to throw. I believe that was intended for Josh Williams, but Adam Gillette, the freshman, got in the way of the throw. It'll bring up 3rd and 7 now to the end zone. It's Williams. Well, they scored. 24-yard reception for Josh Williams, his 2nd touchdown of the day. And he has now gotten over 100 yards. As Sanford going to go for the 2-point conversion, and it doesn't work out. Fleming fumbles. Luckily, that will not go against him on the stat sheet. 20-38 as the football is back in the hands of the Golden Knights. A 2-yard gain here for Adrian Killens, as I expect to see a lot of the ground game here with less than 2 minutes to go. 2nd and 8 handoff goes to Killens, and he is brought down. 3rd and 6 coming up. They continue the no-huddle offense, surprisingly, to the Golden Knights. As Nelson takes the snap, and he'll go option, pitches it off to Sanders, and he is brought down short. Sanford takes a timeout. They've got 1:09 left. With just over a minute, Tanner Patrick rolling out. Throws on the run. Connects with Gillette, but the freshman can't hold on. So a drop from Gillette means 55 seconds. Patrick looking to throw. He'll go deep, Rob Thomas, and it is enough for the first 27 yards. As I would think Sanford wants to run some no-huddle of their own, and it looks like they will. 1st and 10, Patrick going deep again. He's finding Thomas, and another first down. He'll get out of bounds this time. 39 seconds, and Rob Thomas is 15 yards away from 100 himself. So he has gotten behind the corner twice now. First and goal. Patrick looks to throw. Over the middle, that's Joe Baker. Touchdown, Sanford. Well, if there's any positive for Tanner Patrick, it's 4 touchdowns through the air and 300 yards. The issue is, though, he threw 4 interceptions beforehand. But Sanford's got 36 seconds. They need an onside kick. And they're going to go for the 2 to make it a 10-point ball game. Patrick moving around. He gets hit, but the ball does break the plane. They're going to give it to him. And we'll take you to the final here from Houston. 35-31, the Cougars defeat the Huskies at home. Big win for Houston. Kansas State also upset Baylor. And this upset is almost done here in Orlando. As we are back for the onside kick, and it's picked up by Moore. That is all she wrote, folks, as the UCF Golden Knights have defeated the Sanford College Coyotes. And it's a tough one. The number 2 team in the nation. It was a big week. It was a huge week for the Coyotes. Number 2 in the nation. And I'm not sure if it got to their heads, if they were overzealous, if maybe even they underestimated UCF coming into this game. Nonetheless, one thing is for sure. This defense underperformed. They let up the big plays. And this team has always had an issue stopping these mobile quarterbacks. But Tanner Patrick this year hadn't had one of his destructive games. And now it finally showed up. 4 interceptions. The score looks like it was more of a game than it actually was. 28-38, once again your final UCF over the Sanford College Coyotes. But a devastating loss, the first of the season. And now the Coyotes have to go home and face their rivals, the UConn Huskies, next week. And a lot of young men are coming in for visits for a big game. Hopefully they can bounce back. You've been watching the Coyotes Football Network. I'm Jonathan West. We will see you next week.